The M2 MacBook Air. iDrop news suggests that the Air could be notchless, but with a trade-off. Tesla releases a $50 cyber whistle, and will Bluetooth improvements mean thinner AirTags? All sponsored by privateinternetaccess.com/iCaveDave for 4 months free with your subscription. More on that later. I'm iCaveDave and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you. And if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 1300 UTC, like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring my bell. And if there's one thing I can talk about all day long, it is new Macs. You know this, I know this, and today we have some pretty legit looking new info on the MacBook, maybe Air, and maybe just MacBook. So let's talk about that. First of all, I just want to acknowledge that I only know about these leaks because of Max Tech, who put out a video on this, and the leaks themselves actually came from Leaks Apple Pro on Twitter. So how did I miss this on Twitter? Oh, well, for some reason, Leaks Apple Pro has blocked me. I'm not sure why, but I can only assume it was something to do with me being sarcastic. Seems like a pretty safe bet. Luckily, they also posted it on iDrop News. But first of all, this, whatever it is, will be powered by the Apple M2 with Apple's A15 generation cores inside, and based on the performance difference between the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's about 16.5% faster. That means the M2, if scaling the same, it would score around 8683 versus the M1 7453. That's a decent increase in performance generation over generation. Internally, we're talking about 4 efficiency Blizzard cores and 4 performance Avalanche cores. The big performance increase, though, is in the graphics performance, with the A15 scoring a massive 14,216 in Metal, which is 55% faster than the A14. The M-series chips are generally double the A-series chips in GPU core count, so we could well be looking at around a 28,000 score versus the M1's around 20,000. And remember, this is in Apple's small efficiency-focused SoC that probably draws around 15 watts of power and can be built into a system without fans. I also just wanted to drop in here as well, Vadim at Max Tech mentioned that he thinks the MacBook won't be out until later in next year, and that Apple is going to be doing a 2-year cycle. He called it a TikTok cycle. For the record, I don't agree. When we had the SoC codename leaks, we heard that TSMC is already making test runs for the next MacBook Pro SoCs, so the M2 Pro and M2 Max. And that means they're almost certainly already making production M2 chips, so I think we'll be seeing these in MacBooks with the M2 at the spring event. But hey, I've been too optimistic in the past about timelines as well, so what do I know? But these leaks aren't about performance, they're about design. The leak reports to have Apple's official CAD files on the device, and that file is also been shared, so we can take a look around it. So let's do that now. So let's take a quick look at this CAD file. So basically we have the MacBook. It looks a little bit chunkier than I would expect for a MacBook Air, I'll be honest with you. So over this side, we have a single USB-C port right here, presumably Thunderbolt, and also the headphone jack, and then flipping it round, ooh, a little bit too far, but we have a MagSafe adapter and the other USB-C port. So it's nice that they're splitting these up, the USB-C ports, so you can kind of plug in whatever you want on either side of the device, but that also means that anything that's been made for the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro M1 won't fit because a lot of those docks use both USB-C ports. That's a little bit annoying. However, it is nice to have MagSafe on here, and we've also got the recessed keyboard well, as you can see there. But when we turn it around to this side, you will see we have got our thicker bezel. This looks about the same size as the iPad Air and the iPad Pro 11-inch. And there's our camera right there inside the bezel. No notch on this model. We will see if this is legit. We have got curved bottoms to the display, which is a little bit different from the MacBook Pro. And we have got a decent sized trackpad area, but no feet on the bottom. That's interesting. So yeah, that looks chunkier than I'd personally expect for a MacBook Air, so this could just be the MacBook, and if it is, will it have a fan? Because again, that thickness doesn't suggest something that would be solely fanless either. There are a couple of things here that make me think these renders might not be legitimate. First, the bottom corners of the display here have the rounded corners, just like the top. Yet we've just seen Apple's new MacBook Pro design language with its thin bezels that follow the curve at the top of the screen, but they're squared off at the bottom. Surely if Apple wanted rounded corners everywhere, they would have done that in October too. Also, the keyboard wells are in the body colour, while the MacBook Pro has a keyboard well coloured to match the black keyboard, so I'd expect to see the keyboard well on these match the keys in white as well. I mean, these look pretty great regardless, but I think that'd look even better. I do feel, though, that this could be a completely different model to the super thin design that John Prosser and Ian Zelbo shared, which didn't have the MacBook Pro style curve at the base. I'd also say that Leak's Apple Pro and their CAD model doesn't seem to have feet at the bottom of the case like the MacBook Pro, which does have aluminium extrusions for the feet, so it could be getting those rubber strips that we saw on the iMac foot and the Mac Mini renders. And perhaps the lack of the feet does suggest this could be fanless if it doesn't need the extra airflow areas like the Pro does. I don't know, my mind's kind of all over the place now, but here's what it comes down to. Do you want thin bezels and a notch for the camera, or do you want these thicker bezels that look about the same size as the iPad and no notch? I know there are people that are okay with the MacBook Pro's black notch, while they think that a white notch would basically be a hate crime because it can't disappear into the screen. So I'm going to throw it open to you guys. What do you think about this? Do you want to go thicker bezels, white bezels, no notch? Thin bezels, white notch? Let me know down in the comments. Do your worst. Next up, Tesla's cyber whistle. Yeah, okay. Tesla, Elon Musk, as a collective, they have a reputation for making kind of joke gift items, things like the Not a Flamethrower that the Boring Company put out, and now this, which I believe Elon actually tweeted, don't get a stupid polishing cloth for $19, get a cyber whistle. So this is a whistle that's designed to look like the Cybertruck. Now, I am personally a massive Cybertruck stan. I think it looks awesome. It's what I want to be sitting on my driveway. I don't think it will be anytime soon, but hopefully they're actually going to start the production pretty soon. We actually featured the Cybertruck in a show yesterday or the day before, really quite recently, because I just like putting a little footage of a Cybertruck on my screen. But yeah, this cyber whistle, it's a daft gift item. People are going to spend $50 on this as a Christmas gift for people, especially if they've pre-ordered the Cybertruck. That's basically what it's for, but it was funny that Elon gave Apple a little jab for their polishing cloth with this one. And next up, we're going to do an iCave Answers. Remember, we're going to do more iCave Answers later in the day, just like yesterday. If you missed yesterday's iCave Answers show, go back and watch it. It's got a VR thing on the front of it. You can't miss it. But today's question comes from Len Adams. iCave Answers, if the nanometer size of a low-power Bluetooth decreased, would there be an AirTag 2 with a thin yet accessible design? So I would be honest, I don't think it's the size of the Bluetooth chip that is making the AirTags the size they are. They're basically built around the size of the battery that goes into them. So Apple could do something that is rechargeable, I guess, maybe using a charging coil so you can recharge it on MagSafe wirelessly, make it flatter and thinner. That could potentially work. But yeah, I don't think it's anything to do with the Bluetooth chip, and also these also have the U1 chip, which is the main part of what makes the AirTags work. The U1 chip is the one that communicates with nearby iPhones and also allows you to precisely target it using the Find My app, and it'll tell you which direction it's in and how far away you are from it. So yeah, I don't think it's the Bluetooth side of things that is the stumbling point here. I think right now it's battery technology, because you want something that is easily replaceable, ideally, or very easily rechargeable and thinner, but you also need it to last a long time because you're using it to track items that you might not have near you. Hopefully that makes sense. And we have got more iCave Answers in the extra show later today. That'll be out around about 6 PM UK time, UTC. And now a word from our sponsor, Private Internet Access. Today's sponsor is Private Internet Access, the world's most transparent VPN provider, with over 30 million downloads. It's a simple-to-use VPN that works with your Mac, iPhone, iPad, and even those PC things and Android phones, routing all of your traffic through a secured tunnel to hide your IP address and keep what you're doing private. And let's be honest, if you're watching this video, you're probably using the devices you are because you value your privacy. Private Internet Access hides your network data from everyone, from your internet service provider or network administrator to government censors. And it's the most customizable on the market, letting you set custom rules for different websites and offering no bandwidth restrictions or speed throttling, so you can stream, upload, and download to your heart's content privately. And my favourite part is that it's 100% open source, so if you're one of those clever people who knows what you're actually looking at, it's easy to verify that everything is above board from the open GitHub repositories. No user data is stored, and PIA's no-log policy has been proven in court multiple times. So get your 3-year subscription with 4 extra months absolutely free for only $1.98 a month. That's 83% off only by visiting privateinternetaccess.com/iCaveDave, as this offer is exclusive for you guys and it's risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support. So why wait? So thank you all for watching the show. If you want to get a question answered in this show or in our dedicated iCave Answers show, hashtag iCave Answers down in the comments section. Thank you to all the Patreons over here. If you want to join the Patreons, you can get these shows ad-free as well.